Okay. Alright. Hi guys, welcome back from lunch. My name is Ashish. I'm from Google. Quick intro about myself. So I manage a team in Google called the Channel Partnership team. Our overall team works with publishers, right? By publishers I mean both web and app developers. Firstly, thanks so much to Manish and the entire Videology team for having me here. It's a great privilege to be here. As you guys may know, Videology or Readware is one of our longest and most one of the largest channel partners that we have. We have a program in Google called the Google Certified Channel Partnership Program, and Videology is one of them. We only have two partners in India which are part of the program. We've been working on Manish's team for the last 4 years. What I really want to talk to all of you today, and I want to have a very interactive session, so stop me very well at questions, is largely about three things, right? I want to first touch upon what are the large ecosystem trends that we're seeing in the web business when it comes to publishing. I want to spend some time talking about what Google is building, looking at these trends, right? And third, I want to address publisher challenges from a lot of feedback that we hear on a daily basis in India. And I want to, like I said, I want to make this interactive because it's a rare occasion that we get to speak to you. We'd love to hear your feedback, any questions that you guys have. Right? So I'll start with the ecosystem trends. So very simply, I think one thing on Google is that they share a lot of information, but we love reiterating some of the important stuff that's already out there with numbers. So we always think that mobile is growing, but how much is mobile really growing in 2019? The answer is that mobile on web is growing 20% YoY, right? But what I also want to mention here that maybe a lot of you may not know, top of mind, is how much time users are spending in apps. So when you look at mobile, we don't just look at we also look at apps, right? So almost out of 4 hours being spent per user in India on the mobile or smartphone, 3 hours is actually being spent in apps. Right? So when you think of your strategy or your, let's say your 2020 plan for publishing, keep in mind that you're probably already thinking mobile, but are you thinking mobile web or are you thinking mobile apps? Right? Because you're going after the per person's time spent. All of us in this room are trying to capture attention. The user's attention is going on a platform that maybe some of us have not yet built to our best ability or even thought of it. And we see this with a lot of publishers, big publishers as well as small publishers, that they, while they say that they are thinking of app, they have not built capabilities which are app first, right? But whereas the users have already jumped to that platform. So one thing that I would like to emphasize as the ecosystem trend that we're seeing a number that's really growing is this 3 hours per day that users are spending. And these are not apps which are WhatsApp and Instagram. These are apps which are like news, games, content, tools, and utilities. Right? So this is not WhatsApp. If I add WhatsApp and YouTube, it probably be 6 to 7 hours a day. Right? So all of us are probably using WhatsApp at least 3 hours a day. So the good news is that mobile web continues to grow, but not at the pace of apps. The next big trend that we really see in the publishing business is that there's been a big paradigm shift from people consuming and creating on text to people now consuming and creating more visually. Now visually is in two formats that largely we see globally. On the left is stories. Now stories is largely Facebook's product across WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook Messenger. This is a stat from TechCrunch. So Facebook now has three of its products where the daily active users on its stories are 500 million. Right? So they have across WhatsApp, Instagram, and Messenger. Each of those products have 500 million daily active users on stories. Right? So clearly, there's a global shift in consumption towards consuming content visually, right? Consuming content in a short format, consuming content, not necessarily social content, but just content in the format that Facebook has cracked. Right? Obviously, Facebook learned from Snapchat. Snapchat still has about 200 million daily actives on the stories format. One stat that we see, which is really relevant for India, is how much time is being spent on video. So roughly 190 minutes per day is being spent on video consumption. Recently, I read the stat somewhere that about 4 billion videos per month are being consumed in India. And about 100 million hours of video content is uploaded every day. So even if all of us sit down to watch all the videos that are created, we won't be able to watch it. Leaving those crazy numbers aside, the message to really take home is that as a publisher, you have two options now. Earlier you had creation in text, but now you have two kinds of creation options. You can either create in video because you have a lot of time being spent here, or you can create in a story type format, right? Which means you can do image with the text overlay. That's typically how a story works, right? One really big thing about stories is that I think it's opened up a whole new set of creator ecosystem. If you look at maybe in the early 2000s, we had only text bloggers who used to write about whatever their interest was. A lot of tools have been created to actually now create visual stories. Right? So, for example, let's say we take a photo of this room and I want to write a story about it. I don't need to write it in text. I can simply share it with my friends by putting a sticker on it, making a customized sticker saying I'm at a Leadware meet and sharing my location. So the other thing I think that's very interesting is that this has opened up a whole new set of creators. People who weren't comfortable with writing or writing long form, they can now become creators by just simply clicking photos, augmenting them a little, and distributing. I'll just wait for this to load, so I don't remember my next slide. No, sorry. So, while this flows, the next big ecosystem trend that we're seeing in India is mobile app. Right now, of course, we all know that once Jio came in, this was something that was bound to happen. That what we call as the India 2.0 or Bharat of Internet has come online. Um, 9 out of every 10 internet users is now a non-English speaking internet user. Right? So think about it this way that maybe in the early 2010, 2015 era, people were creating only English content because that's who the readers were. But now the readers who are coming online, 90% of them are not even used to speaking or reading English. They're having to learn it because there's no other content available. So today I want to search something and learn about something, but I don't know how to speak English. I have to force myself to understand that content. Right? So just imagine yourself as a user who's maybe sitting in Russia and trying to search something, and all you see is the language you don't understand. That's the experience our countrymen have, right? And only 1% of the content on the web that Google crawls is in the language of the user. So this is a huge, huge opportunity and a huge problem to solve because we are in the business of creating information and helping people discover information. Today we are facing a problem where we do not have the right answers for people simply because it's not in the language that they understand. Right? As a publisher, this creates a huge opportunity for you guys because it's an open field, it's a complete white space where not that many creators are creating in languages that users are reading. Uh, just to validate how big this trend is in terms of for Google, we're seeing a 2.3x increase in Hindi searches year on year. Right? In fact, our Hindi searches has outpaced our English search growth. So it's not that today if you're a creator that this is a long-term strategy. This is already yesterday's strategy. Because if you're creating content in Hindi, you're already seeing significant traffic coming to your website. So I'll just reiterate the three big trends that we should focus on. One is more mobile, but within mobile, it's mobile apps and mobile web. With apps, taking 3 hours, the lion's share of time. It's more visual. Within visual, it's not just video. It's also stories. It's more image and it's text on image. And lastly, it's more vernacular, right? And especially in countries like India, this is a trend that you can just see by speaking to anyone, that we know. Now I want to touch upon keeping those three bets in mind. I want to touch upon what Google's bets are on how to kind of capture these opportunities. Actually, if you look at the Google app itself, it kind of shows you where Google is betting on for publishers. So I've taken a screenshot of the Google app and how it looks now, and I'll speak about 6 real focus areas for Google in the next 2 or 3 years from a publisher. One is Discover, right? So Discover, as you guys know, is the feed version of discovering content. So it's an infinite scroll that you can do, personalized to your consumption habits of content. We have roughly 5 billion installs on Discover globally. So pretty much anyone who has an Android phone has Discover, which in India is 99% of people, right, or even in Asia Pacific. The other big focus area for Google is our Play Store. Like I said, since mobile apps is where people are spending a lot of time, a lot of investment and resources and thought process from Google's end is going on the Play Store as a distribution mechanism. When we all started using the internet, Google search was a way of discovery and distribution for content, right? Today, the Play Store is one of the biggest sources of same. So today, if I'm discovering content, whether it's gaming or whether it's just news or media, I have an alternate option, which is really big in size. So to put a number to this, in India this year, we will have 20 billion Play Stores, right? So if you compare it with search, Play Store is a formidable alternate source of distributing and discovering content. The third big play that Google has made is going into different languages, not just for discoverability, but also in terms of monetization. You guys may have read that we now have 44 global languages that we support. The plan in India is to have 9 or 10 Indian languages supported on AdSense by the end of next year, right? And from the data that we have, when we cover these 9 10 languages, we will be covering most of the India diaspora who searches online. So no longer will monetization of the content that people create be a problem, because we'll be covering most of the traffic that is searching these languages. The fourth thing which we touched upon is our play, our foray into visual, right? So apart from YouTube, which is an aggregator of video, AMP Stories, which you guys may have heard of, is our big bet in the creation ecosystem for helping publishers adopt more of a visual creation format, right? AMP Stories is exactly like Instagram Stories. If you think about it, it works the same way. There are tools to put text on image or make it a video, and you can tap to the next page, right? To the next page. AMP Stories is still in a very early phase for us. It's been talked about a lot at various conferences. Can't share too much about how AMP Stories is going to be, but the way I would think about it is that imagine if you're searching about top 10 hotels in Bali to travel to. There may be a point when the search result might be an AMP Story instead of a text link, right? So because user habits are becoming more visual, because users are getting more used to story format, short format, visual, it's important that Google also goes in that direction, right? So the search or the discover or whatever properties that Google has will try and align towards where user trends are moving, right? So it's a big long-term bet as a publisher to think of the fact that okay, users are consuming this way. Google is now creating a format which supports that user habit. Should be invested in or not, right? So today we don't have tools to create AMP stories. Like Google doesn't have that tool yet, but it's one of our largest bets that we're taking globally, and especially in India. So markets like India are definitely visual first, right, compared to the US where people are still more text heavy. India, markets like India where people have problems with language, etc., will be early adopters of AMP stories as a format. The fifth piece, I think, is something that has always been a bet, and I think it will never be a bet that Google will stop playing on, is user experience, which can be something like AMP, obviously something like EWA. I heard in the earlier session, someone talking about page speed, right, and how that affects 2% of Amazon's revenue, and that's probably a few billion dollars a week. This is a big concern area for us as well, right? So today globally, AMP penetration remains less than 10 or 15% for Google, for all mobile websites out there. The publishers who do use AMP or PWA have seen significant increase not just in engagement, but also in page views per user and also in monetization, right? So the end goal of AMP is not monetization. The primary goal is using, like he said, I mean, are you going to really use a website that takes 8 seconds to load when there's an Instagram story which is showing you the same thing, like much less time. I think people are becoming less and less patient, so people don't have time for waiting for page loads when they have good data connectivity. They don't expect your website to take so long. If your website takes so long, they probably think you're not a good publisher, right? And Google continues to focus on this area and improving this. I think what's also important to note is that a lot of these bets are product bets, right? They also translate into discovery bets, right? So Google traditionally has always uh, not really ever revealed what helps drive SEO or traffic. But the way I would look at it, and speaking as an ex-publisher, is the bets that Google makes as products eventually translate into discovery and monetization, right? So everything that Google is betting on, if you're a publisher and you bet on the same thing, you're likelier to uh, reap the benefits of distribution and monetization. Okay. Lastly, I want to speak about voice. This is slightly dated data. I think Sundar Pichai had his 2016 IO that 20% of queries are now voice on Android, right? And a lot of it is driven by the next billion user countries like India, where people are just more comfortable using assistant or voice for queries. It's a very common use case in China also, where people leave voice notes on WeChat or we leave voice notes on WhatsApp. This same user trend has now translated to search. Uh, and of course, this opens a whole new dimension of thinking about creation of content. Because the person who's searching in voice is a very new, different type of user. What he or she is expecting to read or hear may not be what we are creating today. Right? It also may not be the ads that we're showing or may not be the right ads that we're showing. Maybe we need audio ad formats. Right? Maybe the advertiser wants to show the audio ads to this kind of music. So these are the sort of 6 focus areas based on the broad ecosystem trends that we've seen. Uh, like I said, I want to reiterate that these are big product plays, not just in India but globally. And as publishers, I would really use this time as we start on 2020 to think about whether any of these or all of these make sense for your particular business. And if Google is a important partner for your publishing house, this is Google's vision, and how can you tie it with yours, right? We have partners where Google tends to be 50-60% of traffic, etc. If you are one of those which considers Google as a partner like that, I would say that this is our mission and vision for the publishing business. I'll pause here if there are any questions around this because this is an important slide. That if you guys have any questions on our bets, whether it's Discover or Play Store or anything but AMP, because we've heard some mixed bag comments on AMP. I'd love to hear any feedback or questions from anyone here.
When you say 20% queries voice,
Yeah.
has it been, there, the rise has been because of the assistants,
Yeah.
or is it primarily on the device?
So that's a great question. So it's 2 things. So I think the rise started coming early on in the 2012-15 era, and then using that trend, a lot of devices, not just on the smartphone, but also like for this, for the smart home or build, which pumped up the trend. So I would say the trend got accelerated because of the devices and the marketing push of those devices. We are seeing a lot of it on new users who are using the Reliance phone, right? So on KaiOS, which is the alternate OS which the Jio phones use, there we're seeing a lot of voice adoption. What we picked up as an insight from that is that this next type of internet user who does not really understand English believes that the content is not there for him or her. And they also kind of prefer speaking into the phone rather than typing, and those phones are not very well built for typing, right? So we're figuring out if in China, for example, I recently visited and someone told me that people use voice because they're used to growing up in a cluttered society and they don't have any problem with being loud. So there are different insights on why voice is growing. But in India, it seems it's simply because of the kind of device they're using and the push on system. That's it. Yeah. Are there any questions around? I'm particularly interested in hearing any feedback around languages. What is what is the take that you guys have? Have you guys created any vernacular content? Are you guys seeing any good traction on that or bad traction on that? Is there anyone in the room who has created vernacular content in the otherwise?
Actually, it's more of a visual process for us.
Yeah.
The conclusions for certain specific process created that.
Right.
So really not in a position to share the stats, how exactly we targeted was a particular client's demand.
Okay.
So we entertain that.
Yeah.
But we are not doing it on a regular basis.
Okay.
That's how it is.
Has there been any thought on like, given all these numbers that are there, many people are talking about this, right? That vernacular is a big bet, vernacular is a big bet. Has there been any thought around like why you should or should not look at this area, considering some clients have come and said, okay, can you make vernacular content?
But it's not from the client, but I have heard it from the industry also. Okay. Because there is no, I would say it is a prejudice and our population is on the automotive.
Yeah.
So by now, more or less, most of the content likely is being consumed in English.
Right.
So I would not want to generalize it, but
Yeah.
for sure, in the industry I've definitely heard of it because not many options are there for any other language also. When people are, there is no offering per se. Specifically, if you talk about certain talk shows or the television shows, there's just no offering, it's only English.
Correct.
So as you speak within the industry, within the GMC people and among the GMC people and several other clients, they do develop and say that I guess that would be a valuable opportunity for the foray to develop the content in any other language.
Yeah.
Specifically more to do it rather than any vernacular anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
The second has to be Hindi only.
Yeah.
Not there in English as of now.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
That is the case for us.
Okay, got it. Is there any publisher who has tried AMP and it's really not worked for them? Very, very keen to know about that because we see a pretty mixed bag when we look at our publishers. Our top end news publishers have reaped massive benefits from AMP, right? But when we speak to, I would say outside the top 10 guys, we don't hear always positive comments. So I'm curious to know if anyone has tried through WordPress or through any plugin or through Feedware, they tried AMP and it's like, not shown the results that was expected. Either from an engagement point of view or a monetization point of view. Or has no one tried AMP yet? Okay.
It would be as a form of positive trending.
Okay.
So we have got a good response there.
Yeah.
So we are basically modern.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it was positive. We did it there also.
Yeah.
So it was for us it was in fact positive. That's why not in savings was asking for negative things.
Yeah. So you can share positive feedback also.
Yeah. So it was in fact positive.
Okay. And did you see, was it positive in the sense of user experience and monetization or just?
It was actually it's a very initial stage to make on that because we recently so user experience was we got a good thing.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. That's pretty good. Okay. This last question. I mean, is anyone in the room thinking of an app strategy of your existing content, or does anyone already have an app? Or are you guys thinking of promoting the app if you have an app? What are the thoughts or concerns around app, considering it's a huge source of distribution and monetization? Is this a space that people have thought of and not interested in, or are not sure of? Would love to know because we don't see any web publishers really focusing on app. Our web publishers and our app publishers are completely mutually exclusive.
So we are having this discussion early in the day also.
Yeah.
And, so we have some strategy around getting into apps. But then the only thing to ask us as to what is stopping us or what is concern is primarily from the perspective that the acquisition costs.
Yeah.
Primarily that is the biggest concern.
May I ask what vertical you are?
So we are basically in the telecom domain.
Okay.
for quite some many years.
Yeah.
And now we use field as well.
Okay.
We're pretty relatively very new.
Yeah.
And
So maybe I can touch upon just very broadly on like what is the app ecosystem like, right? Like it's very broadly. So you're absolutely right. So interestingly, content on apps don't work that well. Like if you're pure play content, like let's say you have a car blog or you have a food recipe blog, those kind of apps in India don't necessarily work as well as a tool or a utility. By tool or utility, I mean like let's say someone searching weather in Reddit, right? Those kind of apps have a propensity to work better, have a lower acquisition cost and better monetization. The apps that are now starting to do well in content are more on the news side, right? Whether it's hyperlocal news, whether it's video news, whether it's vernacular language news, right? And then the apps that do really well are pure play entertainment content apps, right?
so that is exactly where we are standing is.
Yeah.
In the entertainment domain.
Yeah.
That is why you don't get into the app thing.
Yeah.
And the acquisition cost has been better.
So just to share some benchmarks, our average app install for a content app could be as low as 50 rupees. Yeah.
Right.
Could be as low as 15 rupees for an install. Right? Obviously retention is a challenge, but the installation cost is not very high. And at scale, like at a million installs. So of course that's math that we'll have to do. But what we are seeing is that now even content apps, because the acquisition cost is so low, a lot of new developers are making niche content apps. Right? In the app world, what I just like to end with is that before, if you are thinking of app at all, right, choose the vertical that you're making your content in for the app very carefully. One big advantage of the Play Store is discoverability, unlike search, is not top heavy. I'll explain this. So it's not that the top few partners get all the traffic. In the app world, in the Play Store world, a lot of middle-sized players also get a lot of traffic because there's more points of discoverability on the Play Store. You can have a similar app, you can have a trending app, you can search and you have 6 apps, right? Whereas on search, it's only like your top 5 links. So that's one thing that is very interesting about the Play Store that Google has built and continues to build more discoverability touchpoints. So we're seeing a lot of long tail and mid tail publishers emerge because they know they can get traffic on the Play Store. Whereas it's tough for a new publisher to now get traffic on the on Google search. It's really hard. Okay. So I'll move to the last section, which is publisher challenges. Right? So obviously the number one challenge that I heard I was a studio background, I was a publisher in 2015 and I joined this team 2 years back. The number one challenge that I heard every day was my CPM is not high, my not making money because my CPM is not high. So I thought the best way to answer this would be to actually show you the graph of each CPM that we see for India Web. Right? So this is India Web CPM graph. I can't share numbers, but it's how the graph looks. So obviously the spikes are Q4. Q4 typically advertisers spend more, there's more bidding pressure, CPCs are higher, so CPM is higher. But as you can see, this is a 3-year range. It's largely flat to decline, right? If you look at like from this point and this point. And the reason for this is very simple, right? As internet has increased, we have oversupply of inventory and not that much advertiser demand. Right? So today there are less people bidding and more people consuming. And this gets worse if you're like in YouTube, right? Because YouTube there's so much consumption, and advertisers, if they choose to spend all their money also on YouTube, I don't know if they can even spend all their money on YouTube. So flat to declining ECPMs is a reality that is driven by market forces that will continue to be so, right? Until the advertisers decide to spend more on particular domains or websites. And it's simply because we've seen almost a doubling of the internet user base in the last 2 years. Right? And that internet base that's come on is not as valuable as the base that was there before it for advertisers. So it's logical why this graph would be flat or declining. Right? Now this is of course AdSense and AdX. This does not reflect what you directly sell to an advertiser. So you might go directly to an advertiser and sell at the highest. What I want to definitely show you this is this graph, which is how ECPMs look in tier 1 markets like the US or UK or Canada. Right? This is the same time period. So just to give an indexation, the CPMs are anyway 3.5 times higher and they're growing. So if you look at 2017 to 2019, the CPMs are actually growing quite significantly. Right? Starting on a base of anyway 3.5 times higher than Indian CPMs. I'll come back to why I showed this graph. Uh, this is another feedback that we hear in the market a lot. That traffic to top players increases faster than for small, medium-sized players, publishers. Uh, and there are just two reasons why this is largely happened. Uh, one is AMP, right? Our adoption by our top players, when I say top players, I mean most of the top news guys, they've really taken to AMP and they really adopted AMP. I would say more than almost half of their or more of their page views on mobile are app, right? And that's caused increase in discoverability as well as monetization. The other is the discover feed, right? Discover feed has been a game changer in terms of getting traffic, and it's Google's rule has always been very simple that if you create better content, more relevant content, we will show you in the properties that we have. And Discover is really massive in terms of users in India. And some of our top players have really done well in adopting to the signals that fit well for Discover. So these are the reasons why a lot of the traffic is actually going faster for the top guys than for the small medium-sized players. Okay, I think one thing that this is my personal view on if I was a publisher today in India, I think we get asked this a lot that okay, what should I do next, right? And I would say there are like four things from my perspective. If I was a publisher, first is I think a lot of publishers are not 100% certain of what is their content USP. This could be something as simple as a keyword, or it could be something as large as a vertical, or it could be a niche, right? Or it could be a language. So I'll give you an example. Some of our most awesome and successful publishers on the web are Satta websites, right? What do? They just simply publish Satta results. Now, if you speak to the developers, their backgrounds would not suggest that they are from publishing houses or they thought they would be publishing houses. They just stumbled upon this idea, made a website, got the results. But one thing they've done really well since then is they've never left their focus on Satta, right? And they've ensured that no matter what happens in the Satta market, the users will always come to their website first. So the number one piece of advice that I would have is that make sure that the USP, whether it's a keyword or language that you are gunning after, is big enough for the monetization value you want. So use tools to size how big that market is. Right? The market is pretty big. And if you figure out that's where you want to play, then figure out how many years you want to spend just investing on that single keyword or that niche. Right? We have amazing publishers who again just take food recipes and Indian food recipes and would make millions of dollars on just those keywords. Right? So this is something that I would definitely encourage you to do. I made this mistake myself when I started as a publisher. I thought I would create content for everything. Right? But I soon realized that that's very difficult to do even though cost of writing is cheap in India. There's no point of writing for everything or making content for everyone. It's better to focus on something like a keyword because that's just how the ecosystem works. The second thing I'll talk about as a piece of advice is, and that's why I showed that graph, is think of tier 1 country users' interests. So when you're building your content USP, don't just think of India. Think of what are users interested in USA? What are people reading in Canada? Which gap is there in Australia? Right? Because from a monetization point of view, you see the CPMs, right? They're 3.5 times, 4 times of India and they're growing. Indian CPMs are flat. Some of our best publishers have a healthy mix of India and non-India users in terms of monetization. The third advice that I would leave you guys with is that go really deep on analytics. I think a lot of our publishers even our top guys don't have the best tools, nor do they have a discipline of reading analytics on a weekly basis. So, and you see this a lot with AMP, right? When they implement AMP, they expect that next day they'll see an increase in revenue. But what they don't see is the other analytics associated with AMP, right? Like, for example, you saw user engagement. They'll not take feedback from users saying, okay, this is the website go faster. So think of investing in a good analytics tool or a good analytics partner, and also building a discipline within your team of how to look at analytics every week more holistically, right? Because once your laser focus is there, once you crack your keyword, there's always a chance that someone else is going to steal that unless you are doubling down on analytics of that keyword or niche. And the last thing would be that you guys are great content creators, right? There's a reason why you decided to do what you did, mostly out of passion for creating content in that vertical. That is your great USP, that's your great strength or your team's great strength. Don't get boggled with the business part of it necessarily. When there are partners out there and tools out there who can actually help you do that at a profitable way. So what I say is focus your team or yourself on content creation and really invest and outsource and research on tools which can help you do the rest of the stuff which you don't need to do. Because we found that if you do that, that will happen more profitably for you in the end. If you think that you'll in-house everything, it might be hard for you to do it the right way and it won't be profitable. Right? And we have one of the things that Google tries and does, especially with the team that we have, right, the channel partnership team, is focus on this pillar. We try and find partners who are the best tools or the best outsourcing mechanisms for you for the bets that Google is taking. Like Reader is a great example. Reader has most of the capabilities that I mentioned here today, which are big bets for Google. Our job is to ensure that you guys are focused on content creation. The channel partners or other tools out there are focused on helping you with the other stuff. Right? It may be more efficient, for example, for you to outsource your ad hoc team. Right? It may be more efficient for you not to hire a direct sales guy and to outsource that. It may be better if you just give your application to someone else or your application to someone else. I know it sounds expensive when you first think about it. It sounds like, why should we do it? Let's in-house it, we can also do it. But in the long run or in the midterm, it will definitely not necessarily be a good strategy to in-house everything. You lose your laser focus on what you started with and why you started with publishing in the first place. So yeah, that's what I want to share with you guys. Quick summary. So 3 broad ecosystem trends, our bets, right, for the next couple of years, feedback that we hear from the market from publishers, and my personal take after studying the market a lot on what really works for Indian publishers from a monetization standpoint. Right? And now I'm open to any question and answer.
Questions are also sales guys or what?
Yeah, so for example, so I'll give you an example of the app world, right? You guys all know Ludo King. It's a popular Ludo app, right? So they have roughly 100 million installs. They don't have even one single sales guy in their own team, a direct sales guy, right? The amount of ad impressions they have is huge, 100 million installs. They've outsourced that and said, okay, you know what, you're an agency, you're better at selling to a folk than I ever will be. I'm very good at creating board games. I'm just going to focus on that. You will be good at getting a Coke campaign. I can't even build a deck to sell to Coke. Right? And that guy is going to go and sell it at $3. And he gets to make another game while that guy does that. So a lot of these things that I mentioned here are things that you can available, right? They're not super core to your business. They may be experiments you want to try. For example, you might think video is exciting, but you're not sure if you want to bet on it for money. So outsource it. There's a tool out there. It works on like a freemium plan. Use the tool. It might be worth $20, $30 a month, right? See how it works. See if your users like it. You'll get a learning on whether I should invest in one video. I know when, to answer your question, AdOps is something that...
No, I didn't touch about the video creation part.
Yeah.
I understand it. I didn't touch about the AMP part. I do understand it.
Yeah.
But once it is coming to AdOps and direct sales,
Yeah.
see, publishing, the revenue model of publishing businesses, advertising only. And having a team not in place for advertising development.
Yeah.
That's what making?
Correct. No, I think that's a great question. So I think the way I would look at it is this, right? It depends on which stage of the business you're in. If let's say you're at early stage publishing,
Agreed.
right? Okay, so that's one scenario where it's simple. You don't want to spend too much time on it.
Yeah.
Right? Let's say you're even mature. As a mature publisher, you would be trying to do direct sales and less of AdSense, right? That's the end game for monetization. You may not be the best person to do it, or you might have to hire a guy who is worth 20 lakh rupees to go and do it the best. And he still takes 6 months to go and sell, right? That's just how the industry normally. And it'll take you 3 months of getting the money to monetize it. If you outsource it to an agency who already is doing it, they aggregate all that and they make sure that 6-9 month process and 20 lakh rupees is safe. Right? So even at different stages, right, there are use cases for partners even in ad ops and direct sales, which is the more core part of your business, the arbitrage part of your business. Uh, think of Google as a tool, right? Google AdSense is an enterprise SaaS tool. You outsource your inventory to Google or Facebook or Google because our tool is good. You're paying us for that tool. It's not upfront, but you are actually paying us a significant amount for that. So this is no different than that. I don't know how good we are on time, but I mean, I'm open to questions. Or if you guys can also ping me later, the read team can share my email ID. So if there are any more questions, I'd love to hear from you guys. Right? Thank you so much for your time again, and thank you, Videology, for
Thank you so much, Ashish, for being with us and sharing your knowledge and information. So now we'll be going further in the session and we'll be talking about AI and ML after this. So Manish will be taking over from here again.
Alright, thank you, Ashish. First of all, I want to thank you for two reasons, Ashish. One is obviously for joining us here, and second is whether you know it or not, you reiterated almost everything we covered in COVID, right? I was like sitting back there, I was like, as if you've been reading our minds, we've been reading yours. We've been reading
That's very important.
But we talked about, like if I just cover it again, we talked about the importance of immersive content, right? Which is what Ashish talked about. We talked about maintaining your niche and focusing on. We talked about Rajiv being talking about brand solutions and taking your brand to the advertisers and showcasing creative technology to them. Some of the things which you're passionate about in terms of analyzing data, all of that is what is very complementary to what the publishers are doing and where we have teams for. But now, coming to for me, the most exciting session of the day, and it's so exciting that we're also casting it live on YouTube to about 40 people across India who are watching it, is artificial intelligence and machine learning in publishing. Now, a lot of you here have heard of these buzzwords: AI, ML, deep learning, right? If you're following the news or you're following the trends, you will be hearing a lot about how various different industries this AI and ML is making a change, right? So I'll tell you an interesting story. A couple of days ago, it was a Sunday, a day when there was a lot of pollution in Delhi. Most people were indoors. And I just walked out of my house and I saw this couple who happened to be my neighbors. They were standing outside the house and the car was on the surface and the bonnet of the car was open and they were just using their cell phone to do certain things with the car. And I got concerned and I said, what happened? Is your car broken down? And they said, no, it hasn't broken down. They're just renewing the insurance of the car. I said, how are you renewing your insurance? Like, because there's this app where we go in and we take the picture of the car from all sides, and then it guides us in terms of where or which all angles we need to take the pictures from. And then we, in real time, we're sending the pictures to a machine which is analyzing those in using artificial intelligence. And then there is a policy which will get issued to us through this. So you don't need, so if you've ever renewed insurance, you know that there is a guy who comes from there who verifies, and it's really irritating because he obviously doesn't know half the things related to cars and he's just been given a job, he's not even qualified. And here there is a system which is running in the cloud somewhere, processing millions of policies a day through this technology which has been developed, and it's probably more accurate than what anybody can be trained for, right? So that was one area where AI and ML is being used in insurance, and I still have to discover how it works because that's maybe I can use that system to renew my insurance next time. But when it comes to publishing, what we realized is that a lot of publishers don't know much about how to leverage AI and ML in publishing. Right? Am I right? Is anybody here who says that no, we use it to the core and it's really important for us? No, right? So that's where I want to showcase to you how it works. Now, when we talk about AI and ML in publishing, there are three main aspects. There is artificial intelligence, which is programmed with the ability to learn and reason like humans. There is machine learning, which is a little deeper, a little subset of artificial intelligence, which is algorithms with the ability to learn without being explicitly programmed. And then there is deep learning, which is again a subset of machine learning and the real holy grail, which is the reason Google is Google because of the deep learning which they have, which they've done on their entire network. Right? Their neural network is, if I talk about neural networks, is 100 levels. Most normal companies struggle to even be at 3 or 4 levels. They're at 100 levels. And the beauty is they've opened up a lot of their deep learning and machine learning via APIs which are available on Google Cloud. So deep learning is a subset of machine learning in which artificial neural networks adapt and learn based on vast amounts of data which is there. So you show a picture, right, and then it uses computer vision and tells you what is there in this picture, which characters are there in this picture, is there a place in this picture which it can identify. That's deep learning, right? Common use cases, just to set the context and just so that you can associate with what is coming up. Common use cases which you might have heard of, which are associated with AI and ML. Number one is detection of fake news, right? And let me take you to this interesting image, which I don't know if few of you would have seen. When Diwali happened, this was a picture which went viral where there was a story that 133 crores was spent on lighting diyas in Varanasi, in Ayodhya, on Diwali, right? And there was this picture of this girl who was trying to take the oil from the diyas which were off, and there was some oil left in that so that she could take it home. And I have hidden the picture and the name of the people who posted it, or the person who posted it just for security reasons. But the idea was that this post went viral. And every major publication, I don't know how many of you, read it and covered it, every major publication picked it up and said that 133 crores was spent on this event. And it's a huge sum of money there. And I also felt the same way. I also was critical and upset that you have such cases there and you're spending and wasting money on this, right? But this was fake news. The actual number was 132.7 lakh. It was picked up as 123 crores. So somebody conveniently changed lakh to crores, and all the major media publications picked it up, right? So there's a site which we're a part of called NewsChecker, which evaluates this news and puts a stamp whether it's original or fake. It validated it using just tools like Google search and Twitter Advanced Search, and it found out that the Uttar Pradesh Sarkar had issued 132.7 crores, 7 lakhs for this event, and not 133 crores as it was shown in the issue. So this was fake news, which AI and ML will eventually become very good at detecting and showcasing. Another area where AI and ML is used is to identify plagiarized content. Right? Very, very important. You can get penalized if your content is plagiarized, as well as you can have a lot of legal issues if you plagiarize content. Plagiarization is a problem, right? We've seen it. We see it every day where there are sites which pick up content blindly and they they post it on their sites, and at times they have more traffic than the people who are actually creating them, right? And everybody says that it's becoming lesser now because of all of this, but it is a problem. And then real-time assisted writing is another area where AI and ML is playing a huge part. You see some part of it. I picked up this example from Gmail, right? Which is what is called as auto compose or smart compose, which is it tells you based on your writing style, based on the article, whatever if you put in a title, it will immediately pick up. It will do some trends in the back and then help you assist in writing it. And the industry is moving to such a point, and all of you must know this, that maybe not now, but in a few years, maybe 40-50% of your content will be auto-composed. You will not have people physically writing it. It will pick up trends, it will pick up your writing style, and be able to create, content on the fly. You probably will just have to edit it a bit or add a human touch to it if you still want to do human touch. Or you might want to just say that let's just post it as is because there's more volume which is being created. So these are the common use cases which are being covered in AI and you might have seen some of those examples in your daily lives. What we want to showcase is what are we doing in AI to take this ahead through our platform and through our work which we are doing. So number one, and I'm very, very positive and gung-ho about this, is what also we talked about earlier is segregation of good news. You know, 95%, and we did this study, right? We did this study when we were building this feature. 95% of the news which is published is negative news. And I'm not talking about auto publishing or car publishing or mobile based publishing or telecom related content. That's more industry specific. But in general, 95% of the news has all negative sentiment, and we studied that. And the 5% which is positive, in my mind and in my view, it needs to be highlighted. Right? And there is opinion that people publish negative news because it gets more eyeballs. Right? Yes. Do you agree with that? Right? Because it kind of incites you to think about it or to create a conversation topic. It's more of a conversation topic. But if something good has happened, that's boring, right? But I think that should be highlighted, and for publishers who are producing a huge amount of content, they should also highlight what good is happening in the industry, right? So this is where they leverage machine learning to extract sentiments from the content, and from whatever content you're publishing, we run our machine learning algorithms on that and only extract the content which is positive sentiment and showcase that and create that as a separate section, an automatic section which comes in your site or in your mobile app or in your native app, which is highlighting good news. Whether it brings additional traffic or whatever, it's actually a good thing you're doing and it comes to you at very limited effort in terms of what you're doing, getting those sections. The second showcase of RAIML capabilities is related news using content and entities match. This is kind of related to the previous one, except that here we are actually bringing up related news based on the content which is being shown. And we developed this to solve a particular problem, and that problem happened when we were developing AMP. So when we were developing AMP, we we saw that the bounce rate on AMP pages was very high. Because when people reach the AMP page, it was either through Google search or through Discover, they saw it and they went to it, right? And we thought to ourselves, how can we make it better? How can we increase the pages per session on AMP? And we said that can happen if we show related content. But to show related content, we need to have a match, right? So we leverage the content entity match, and based on that, we show related content at 60% of the news. When person scroll through 60% of the news, we show a related content pop up. And what this led to was it improved the pages per session by almost 60%, reduced bounce rate, increased user retention, and created a multi-threaded story format, which is essentially what is very essential for getting your consumers to log in and keep in touch with the content that they're using. Right, so this is another example of related news wherein you have tag-based engaged news articles which are coming inside the content. So if you see these related articles, they are related to the content, and all of this is happening because of the tag-based engaged news articles. Also, what we support this in vernacular languages as well. By leveraging machine learning again to do a translation, by leveraging the translation API to translate from the unsupported languages to supported languages, getting the entities and then translating it back and showcasing it. So all of this comes built into the platform. There is no additional work which you need to do to get this going. Trending articles is a feature which we launched very recently, and this is based on real-time analytics and artificial intelligence. So you must have seen a large screen outside when you were coming back from lunch, which was showing all the trending articles. That's all content which is getting aggregated, but here this is very specific to your publication. And what we've seen here is that when you're reading a particular news and you actually come to a point where you see this trending articles widget, and since it's trending and it's real time, right, there is already a match in terms of the number of people who have found this article useful, and that's the reason it's trending, then they click on it and they start reading it. So this is again another example of where AI/ML or AI along with real-time analytics is being used to deliver more engagement. Artificial intelligence overlay ads, this is something which Rajiv talked about in the brand solutions, where we actually leverage the sentiment and done a lot of operation on that to show ads on top of it, which work very well with the brand ethos, which in this case was categories. They only want to be shown associated with positive stories. So these are some positive stories which are published. You can call them good news. It could be from sports, it could be from lifestyle, it could be from social life, but it really works very well in being able to do this contextual association with positive sentiment. Another area where, which is something which I'm very excited about is, and which Ashish also talked about, is video. That when you create engaging videos for your audience, you know it's expensive, it requires studio setup, it requires video editing, voiceover artists, high definition cameras. What we've built is we've cut all of that out, and from your existing content, which is the content which you're publishing, the rich image-based content, we create videos which are end-to-end videos with voiceover, with the images. I'll show you an example of that.
Bollywood actress Kareena Kapoor Khan and son Taboo Ali Khan were snapped at the Mumbai airport today. The adorable mother and son duo was spotted thrilling in cowboy boots. The little munchkin looked cute as a button. Kareena Kapoor looked every inch stylish as she aced her airport look. The duo did 50 made heads turn at the airport. Famous Cuteness is simply unmissable. The little munchkin will be turning 3 years old on December 20th.
So this video was created without any human effort, purely leveraging the content and the captions which are associated with the images, converting the caption which is text into speech, right? So there is deep learning to ensure that the waveform of the sound is as close to human narration as possible. It was pretty accurate. Adding the images, adding the translation, the movements to that, the Ken Burns effect, and creating this video. Now, if you can create 10, 15 such videos with no effort, right, by just ensuring that your content has that richness and the captions around it, you actually get videos which can get those eyeballs. Right? Another example is auto notifications, and this is very useful in progressive web applications and apps, right, where engagement happens through push notifications. What we have developed is we have developed deep learning based automatic notifications where even if you don't have a manual push, a person sitting there who is an intelligent person analyzing what content to push, what not to push, it can analyze using deep learning, using users' behavior, and using content which is training to be able to push a auto notification. I'll give you a very real example of this which happened recently with one of our publishers we work with. When India won against South Africa in Ranchi, Mahendra Singh Dhoni went to the dressing room to meet all the Indian players there. And there was a press conference with Virat Kohli where somebody asked him, "Are you going to be visiting Mahendra Singh Dhoni because he lives in Ranchi?" And Virat Kohli said, "No, he's in our dressing room. You can come and meet him." Now, even before that news came out, right, it was published. But it was not sent as a push notification because it was just published matter of fact. A lot of news gets published every day, this one also got published. But this system analyzed that this particular news is trending because people are looking at it and sharing it, as well as global trends are suggesting that this news will trend, and it sent an auto notification at that point. Right? And when people saw that notification come to them, there was almost a 95% open rate for that particular notification because everybody was enthused that, oh, is Dhoni in the India, in the dressing room of the Indian team. And then there was one picture which everybody saw and no other picture, but yeah, that one picture people saw of him speaking to a player, showing you about it. So this is another very powerful example of how AI, ML, deep learning can be used.
Let me change the question. So, how difficult is it to implement as a solution for a publisher?
For a publisher,
Or how easy is it to implement?
it's just automatic. If they are part of the CMS and the content is coming in, and then there are a bunch of tags which you associate with in terms of getting the analytics, it works automatically. For us, it's once they're in, and it has taken some time to learn.
Yeah.
It's just automatic after that. It does not take any time for this to work. Right? We built this. Actually, this was built for certain publishers who had problem of workforce. They did not have a team who can editorially select what stories to be sent. They publish great content, but they don't have, and that's true with a lot of, I would say, tier 2, tier 3 publishers, even with a lot of tier 1 publishers, but mostly with tier 2, tier 3, where they're publishing great content, but again, engagement is hard, right? So we need to find ways to help them with the engagement. My feed. So this is another important aspect of the entire deep learning system, wherein publishers publish their content and they're publishing it on various different categories, topics, right? Even if it's one, I would say, niche which you have, there will be multiple topics, right? So if you're publishing only on auto, so within auto there are lots of topics, right? So you're talking about consumer vehicle cars, you're talking about motorbikes, electric vehicles, right? So there would be some people who would be interested in electric vehicles. So how does their content fully get customized for showing electric vehicles related? And then again it translates back, okay, auto notifications, electric vehicles, auto notifications for those electric vehicles. So any news which is being published on electric vehicles is being notified to them, right? So it just goes from there. And then if you have a photo gallery which is related to electric vehicles, it gets converted into a video, right? So this is, in a nutshell, I think this is the last showcase I have. In a nutshell, this is the aspects of AI and ML which we have developed, made into our solution, which are helping publishers to be able to leverage AI and ML extensively for their publishing efforts. Right, so that's a little bit about it. Again, this is, as I talked about earlier, NLP based entities. So as Nevo talked about how we leverage Google Cloud to extract entities. If you see the entities on the right related to the article, so each of these entities is clickable, and when you click on it, it actually shows all the content which are related to this, which is related to this entity itself. Right? What we've developed additional is this publisher companion app, which gives you all of this data as an app in your hands. So you can send notifications with this, you can analyze what is trending with this, you can view what auto notification was sent with this. It's literally like carrying an entire CMS with all the user engagement in the palm of your hand. Some screens which also allows you to compose your content from there. So it's also composition of your content on the fly. Another example is polls, wherein when you create polls, the system allows you to create polls, but then to get engagement on the polls, it needs to, either you showcase that as a poll on your homepage, where you're getting like direct traffic. But if you're getting a lot of traffic which is from search, it gets associated with the content of the story and shows the poll sort of like an ad at the bottom of the page. Gets your consumers to give their opinion. So the communication is not one thing, right? It's a two-way communication happening. So when you get more data from what consumers think, it's also more data back to your editorial in terms of how are they reacting to certain stories. And then you can actually use that as fodder for your further stories or highlight it on your social media, whatever, that opens up a lot of opportunities for you. So yeah, so that's what the overall utilization of AI and ML in our solution was. I'm sure there are a few questions which you might have. Ready to address that. I rushed through this because it's very visual in terms of the examples. Right? There's a lot which happens in the background, which obviously is very technical, but I'm sure the relation to this with your daily publishing workflows is something you guys can really understand. So, any questions? Great, so yes, we'll back to you, Neha.
Yes. So this was written by Manish. We'll be wrapping up the session soon. We do have just one more session, which will be conducted by Anish. So please come forward, Anish. He will be talking about technology and PMP over here.